Good evening. Hello, how are you? Wanted to do another live stream, and mainly the main point of this was to kind of get into it more with this controversy with Dan Wootton, to talk a little bit more, uh, get into a little bit more when it comes to these allegations that are against him. Also, it came out. This was just about almost a couple of hours ago now that now the Guardian has reported on this on the allegations. It's funny that just a couple hours before that, I posted something in my community thing about mainstream media. The mainstream media aren't touching this, right? And then lo and behold, the Guardian, which you could definitely consider mainstream, right? They've now got an article here with the media editor Jim Watterson. The title being "Sun and Mail Publishers Examine Claims Against Journalist Dan Wootton." But I mean, even so, though, I was starting to think, "Hi, Akara, evening." I was starting to think with this, though. I'm thinking they're taking their time, right, to report on this, right? But it's been about what 7, maybe last 6 days. But I guess better now than never, huh? But so this is now getting some. This has gone mainstream now. Um, I mean, we wouldn't exactly call it breaking news. I mean, this was about almost 2 hours ago. But now, the Guardian are reporting on this. They're definitely what you would say call a mainstream publication, and they're saying that the publishers behind the Sun and Mail Online, who I believe that Dan does a column for, maybe does 2 columns, was it maybe twice a week or something? But he's saying that it says the publishers behind the Sun and Mail Online are looking into allegations that Dan Wootton inappropriately offered colleagues tens of thousands of pounds in exchange for sexual material. Wootton's ex-boyfriend claimed last week that Wootton, who is now a presenter on GBU's, used that persuade him Martin Branning and offered individuals large sums of money in return for filming themselves carrying out sex acts. Alex Truby alleged he made the discovery after accessing Wootton's hard drive in 2013 and seeing the emails mentioning the persuade him. And then they mentioned how yesterday that website, I went through that, Byline Times went further into that. And saying many of the allegations relate to the time when Wootton was employed by The Sun, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch's News UK. They say the Guardian understands the organisation has no record of internal complaints relating to a Martin Branning, although it is urging anyone who wishes to make fresh allegations to approach the company. And that's something that, I saw that Jim Watson was saying that you could email him, and he even gave out his mobile number so you could send WhatsApp messages of allegations. And I believe that there probably will be a good few more allegations that will come out with Dan Wootton. This stuff here, like the 4 accusations, this is probably just scratching this beneath the surface, right? Hi, Paul. How are you, mate? Good to see you. So carrying on with the article here from the Guardian. So it says, a spokesman for News UK said we are looking into the allegations made in recent days. We are not able to make further comment at this stage. This could just be lip service, though, and they'll protect their old mate, though, let's be honest. But Wootton, who currently writes a regular column for Mail Online, a spokesman for DMG Media, the site's parent company, said we are aware of the allegations and are looking into them. Yeah. Do these things always happen when it's a parent company, or is this just their way of trying to wriggle out of it, Mail, and not properly look into it? And then if it's found to be true, reprimand them, drop it, suspend them, drop them, whatever. But just when you see that thing about a parent company, is that just their way of trying to? Yeah, because I can see in the end, even if this is hitting mainstream, that Wootton, I still don't think anything's going to happen to Dan Wootton. Obviously, if these things are true, you'd like to think there'd be justice, but I just can see Wootton getting off the hook on this one, though. But it says here, though, the Guardian, though, it says the Guardian has, over the last 3 years, talked to multiple individuals working in the media who say they've been approached online by a person using the name Martin Branning. This has been over 3 years now. So we're going back to around the time with COVID. The individuals, usually with links to the Sun, described being offered tens of thousands of pounds by Branning, usually in return for performing sexual acts on camera. The messages appeared to be personalized and were targeted at individuals, usually straight men, which was, I guess, that was more powerful for that blackmailing to work with the straight guys, right? Including employees of the News UK. Wootton has denied that any illegal behaviour took place, so and has not commented further on the allegations. Will he deny that any illegal behaviour took place on GBUs, though? Will he say something? His employers at GBUs did not respond to a request for comment. Surprise, surprise. So with Wootton, they talk about here, moved to the Sun after the phone hacking scandal and wrote extensively about celebrities, including Caroline Flack. He broke the news that Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, was moving to the US. So it was a very big scoop he got there. And he was involved in the story that led to Schofield publicly coming out as gay. And I've gone through all that before. And yeah, but what do you guys think on this? I mean, now Guardian is reporting on it. I mean, this really could be a case of karma starting to collect. And I just wonder, is all these like, is this everything now being aligned when it comes to justice? I mean, I go back to the stuff with Schofield, right? Let's say if Dan Wootton really he was in on it, right? He might have played a part in helping brokering the deal. Like he was there with his buddy boss, Victoria Newton and the Sun, and they were involved in those talks. Again, I don't know. Again, I suppose backtracking a bit, Dan probably wouldn't have been involved in that, I imagine, because Dan went in on people attacking the ITV bosses, attacking, remember, woke ITV. He always says woke ITV, right? As he always knows the right buzzwords to say. But maybe he wasn't in on it, the deal that was brokered. Let's say the deal really was brokered by Byline Times. But Dan, I would say, Dan knows more than he's letting on about this. He really knows the whole story. That's what I'm getting at. He knew maybe there was a deal in place, but that would have been through his boss, his boss Victoria Newton. But maybe he was not necessarily there at the table when they were trying to get a deal done. No, that's okay, Paul. You can say whatever you like, mate. Where was this? The Christian preachers getting arrested? We take our country, Paul. But open forum. We can say whatever you want here. But yeah, I was just going through that stuff with Dan Wootton because it is breaking. Well, it has been a breaking story. I'm just looking to see here online what people have been saying. I'm just looking up the name, just doing a search. So it looks like he has been saying something on TV. I think he's actually made a comment in reference to it because somebody's saying here, and just like that, it's all his ex's fault and the fault of a certain publication hell-bent on cancelling Dan Wootton. Goes on to blame everybody from Carol Vorderman to The Guardian for the so-called nefarious allegations against him. Now on to Hugh Edwards, FFS. I've heard that they've been bringing up Hugh Edwards again, right? But that's all been gone for about, 5 days, right? Nobody's really been touching on that stuff again with Hugh Edwards. It's kind of totally just died away. A town in England. All right. I didn't hear about that, Paul. Let's see. So is this just today that this came out, or is this a few days ago, or? Can't really see anything on here though. Can't find anything. But I'm just curious to see what they're saying on GBUs right now. Mm-hmm. It's weird. Struggling to find GBUs, but no way that channel couldn't have blocked me, right? Uh, hmm. No clips posted by Dan yet. That's probably by design. I'm sure they know what they're doing. Um, who knows? By tomorrow, for all we know, that he'll be off the show, right? It would surprise me. Yeah, yeah. Send the link over if you can, Paul. Yeah, that would be great. Um, can we talk again? We could talk about a variety of things tonight. It doesn't have to be Dan Wootton, all Dan Wootton. I just put that as a head. It's the main one of the big talking pings going on right now. It's big stories, should I say? Um, so I'm just getting the link out there just on Twitter because I got fairly decent views on my videos the past 2 days. It has been quite a big topic, but just want to see what other people are saying on it. I think they're leaving. They're not posting your standard clips that you get from GBU's presenters. I think they're leaving that alone for now, with all the allegations out there. GBU's. Someone's saying here, Dan Wootton will come on TV playing the victim, saying the left is trying to silence him because he's the only one who talks the truth. As if people are saying here about Dan, it's not nice, Dan, being hounded in the way you hounded Lily Allen and Flack and how you hounded Megan. Take a look at yourself before you play the victim. Hmm. Donald. Yeah, well, I was reading something about Trump, Paul. They're saying that Trump he expects he'll be arrested for all that stuff when it comes to the election in 2020, trying to overturn the election, right? He's expected he's expecting to get arrested soon on this, right? It's just a weird one with Trump. I mean, for me, yeah, yes, I wanted Trump to be president over Hillary Clinton. Yes, I wanted um I wanted Donald Trump to be president, certainly over Joe Biden. Um, so, I mean, for me, with the whole overturning the election thing, you should have just dropped that shit, really, and let that shit go. Um, I mean, you hear presidents say all the time, right, about it's, the game, right? They call it a game, and it is a game, and it's rigged, So, like, all the presidents, probably from George H.W. Bush onwards, have said, quote, the game is rigged. It is a rigged game. There can be voter fraud. There can be, when things get counted, they'll be put on the other pile. So votes for Trump will go to votes to Biden. I mean, we saw this stuff happen in the Scottish independence thing. I mean, I personally didn't want independence for Scotland. That's a whole other thing for another day, though, really. But there was things of people who were putting. It looked like there was people who were votes for the yes, and the people that were counting them, and then they were caught on camera moving them over to no, the no independence. That's what it looked like. So these things can happen. That's just how it is. I mean, obviously it's not right and it's not ideal, but these things can happen. There can be cheating. there's not a proper count. That's just how it goes, you know. I'm not saying I, I'm not saying, I'm not condoning what happened there on January 6th. But I mean, all the people though that were crying wolf on the left on that. I mean, come on, it's like these are the same people that wanted to see Trump killed, to get assassinated. It's like, come on, people are trying to uh, compare Trump to Hitler. This is the guy that was trying to get some type of peace there with North Korea. Look at the other stuff with the peace treaties, and okay, there was the thing with Syria, but didn't start a war in our country. I mean, can you think back to the last president that didn't start a war, right? Did Reagan start one? Again, I'm not that clued up with American politics. Did Jimmy Carter start one? But so Trump gets really a bad rap. He gets a bad name, in my opinion. But I went off on a bit of a tangent there. Where were we? So, but it was DJ Trump being indicted, right? Everyone on here feels the way I do about Trump, Paul. I mean, I don't know what's your take overall on it. Let me know. But well, this DeSantis is saying he seems to be kind of against Trump in a way. DeSantis is saying that DeSantis says Trump was sitting in the White House and didn't do anything while J6 was going on. Mm-hmm. All these things are kind of just distractions, though. The way I see it is, bottom line, in a year and next year, America can't afford having that idiot Biden for another 4 years. It was would DeSantis get in? Would Trump get in? Would Trump get back in? I mean, is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. going to get anywhere? Who knows? Well, that with the dollar with the gold standard, that goes back to the time when Nixon, right? He took the dollar off the gold standard, right? All right, so here we go. GBUs though. GBUs actually have posted a video, a clip that what Dan Wootton's saying. So I think they're going to really this channel really will seem to try and they will protect, right? I guess what they believe to be a valuable asset, because I think to a lot of people, Dan Wootton is kind of seen as the front man of GBUs, right? But Dan Wootton's making it like it's a GBUs thing, and it's like, see, this is the thing they're going to run with, right? This is like a left wing conspiracy theory, and this is what he said. He said, "quote There are dark forces out to try and take this brilliant channel down, and that's because GBUs is the biggest threat to the establishment in decades, and they will stop at nothing to destroy us." So Dan Wootton, this guy who was working for the Sun all these years, that Use UK corporation, whatever. he's trying to claim that it's the establishment. Oh, the establishment are against us, or the establishment's against me. It's like, come on. Oh, absolutely. It affects the whole world with America, Paul. I understand what you're saying. America being the superpower. Yeah, absolutely. I hear you on that. So Sonia Polton, I kind of agree with her. I find myself agreeing a lot with what Sonia Polton, the journalist, says. She says, this was yesterday, mind you, MSM, mainstream media, silence around hack Dan Wootton is weird. That's exactly what I thought. Trending for 3 days and with multiple allegations against him. If this was someone else, Wootton would be salivating as he wrote multiple columns about them and used his GBU show for witch hunts. That did happen. A spotlight is now on him at last. Yeah, I can agree with that. She says, I feel in need of a shower after responding to Dan Wootton fans. Dear me, he certainly attracts a type. Yeah, that's the thing. When I did my video initially exposing him for a hypocrite with the stuff with Schofield, I got a lot of people who were kind of against me more than they understood where I was coming from. They thought I was going hard on Dan. It was like, no, this guy's a hypocrite. How could he claim that this, the stuff with Schofield, the story he was trying to get exposed, was the reason he left ITV? But then he had no problem publicly praising Schofield as gay. He knows what's up. But yeah, it was the guy in the Guardian, Jim Watterson. He said, I've been looking at the Guardian media editor. He said he's been looking into Martin Branning for several years. So this is nothing new coming out of the woodwork here. And he's offered his email number, and there's a mobile number there as well, So I don't know if there's so much fresh information about Dan Wootton, Martin Branning. When Julio Cast, one of our people, was on here, he said when he was junior work at the Sun, Dan wasn't very pleasant to him. I think he said, you only speak when you're spoken to, something like that. I imagine that's pretty standard how people talk to one another in that industry. Well, obviously, you get spoken to when you're very low down on the totem pole, but still a pretty shitty way to talk to someone, though, nonetheless, though, huh? Numbers do go up a bit with this Dan Wootton stuff, but it's not quite Philip Schofield numbers. That was pretty big. At one point, almost 100 people in the chat live. But yeah, but give me your take overall with this stuff with 2024, Paul. What do you think about Robert F. Kennedy? Do you think DeSantis stands a chance, or do you think Trump's going to get in there? There'll be no, or Christ, Trump could be in jail by next year. You never know, right? I mean, that's what so many people want, right? Speaking of DeSantis, he just shows up here on the feed on Twitter. He's speaking to CNN. So he's saying the country's going down the road of criminalizing political differences, and I think that is wrong. Alvin Bragg stretched a statue to target Trump. My job is to restore a single standard of justice to end weaponization of these agencies. I mean, DeSantis certainly talks a good game, right? But I don't know. He's still got the establishment vibe about him, You like to think he'll do a lot of the right things, but if he gets in, that is. But I don't know. He might just be another hack, another puppet. But with this stuff, if you guys aren't fully familiar with the allegations now against Dan Wootton, It was Byline Times yesterday that reported on this, and they had extensive evidence, they said, to show that between this was going on for 10 years now, right? June 2008 and 2018, from then, that he proposed as a fictitious show business agent called Martin Branning, and it was to offer sums of up to 30 grand tax free to his targets, many of whom were heterosexual men. And one of them was a senior executive at Rupert Murdoch's News UK, alongside at least 6 other staff at the Sun newspaper, one with close links to News UK CEO Rebecca Brooks, friends, Facebook associates, and users of the dating apps Grindr and Gator. 2 of the targets made criminal complaints to Scotland Yard without knowing the real identity of their tormentor, with detectives aware of the activities of Branning, whose name, that was a mix between the characters in EastEnders, Martin Fowler, Max Branning, since 2019. So that's just filling you in on some of that if you guys haven't heard of it. But I still think because Dan's well connected and he obviously has friends in high places, I don't think in the end nothing will happen to him. That's just how I feel. But that seems to be the main trending topic right now on Twitter. Dan Wootton exposed. That's the main thing right now. David Vance says, listen, I don't know anything about the legitimacy of Dan Wootton exposed allegations, but I would simply observe that many of those who shed tears for Hugh Edwards now shriek for Wootton's head. There's a hypocrisy there. Yeah, no doubt there's a hypocrisy, but I think if we're being honest and there's so much tribalism really with left and right. But if you're being honest, I don't think it really is a left-wing conspiracy theory. I don't feel. I think certain people have just happened, these people, victims, have come out, said something on Twitter. It's like these people have real big followings, like maybe a few thousand followers. It just happens to catch on, picks up speed, gains traction. I still don't put it down overall as just what people would say, quote unquote, left wing conspiracy theory. And then Martin Branning, that's something else that's a trending topic right now. They're just Dan Wootton going on about the Tories, but come on, they're all the same, these parties. It's kind of a realm. It's like some of these, they were saying here on Guardian, where was the yeah, they said 2021 he moved to GBUs where he hosted a nightly show and has developed a persona as a right-wing presenter criticizing woke issues, which, yeah, I didn't remember him to be political before going on GBUs, though, with Dan. He was never political, wasn't he? He was just the guy who did all that showbiz bullshit with, Katie Price, Kerry Daytona, whatever. He wasn't known for really having any political opinions when it comes to politics that had any proper credibility that people took him seriously. It was just he was the person that blabbed on about celebrities and EastEnders and Corey and all that other gossipy bullshit. Just one moment. I don't know if you're still here, Cara, but Um, I I did message Maureen. I gave her a shout. Oh, so it says here Dan Wootton fights back tears as he denies spear campaign allegations, trying to destroy my life. So he actually put on the waterworks. Jeez, bloody hell. It says, quote, as you probably don't know because you're not in social media, these past few days I have been the target of a smear campaign by various players with an axe to grind, notably by an ex-partner previously abused by. He's trying to claim that he's the victim, he was abused, something which I've never spoken about publicly before, by the way. He's been on a campaign to destroy my life. In the past, he has written to me confessing to being a psychopath, and I saw this firsthand when he threatened in writing to slit my throat many years after we had broken up. I've now been forced to report his fake behaviour and threats to the police. They are now investigating. Well, that's pretty strong. Gee. I don't see that video though on the GBUs. I think there's a long video. I'm not going to go through it right now, but this is Dan. He's doing a real good job though, trying to play the victim, is he? He created an untrue story about me and appears to have been working with an organization who are intent on closing this channel. Well, who is the organization, Dan? Name. So, fuck. Whose reporters include a convicted phone hacker. Well, you used to work for a company that was all those allegations. I don't think it was declared in court of law as guilty of phone hacking, but there was that. There was those allegations you guys had, though. Yeah, that's all good. It's all good. If you can check in, that's fine. If you're curious, so I'm just curious. Anybody, people's opinions on Dan Wootton, but he's now trying to play the victim, and saying that, like, because this is quite strong things to say, right? And he has written to me confessing to being a psychopath. He threatened in writing to slit my throat many years after we broke it up. This is pretty strong things to say of wow. But hypocrites everywhere, yeah. You're absolutely. I mean, everybody in life, no one's clean, no one's whiter than white. So people can always take certain things and aspects about people and then try and blow them out of proportion. I'm sure Dan would do that. He would do that, jump at any chance he got. Or Dan's just straight up telling bold-faced lies here, but gee whiz, though. Yeah, someone says here you should, if this is true, shouldn't you sue them for defamation, Dan? That's what someone's pointing out. Oh, of course, Cara. Yeah, I know. Just doesn't come off like a pleasant guy, at all. And dangerous. That's the thing. Dangerous as well. Yeah, yeah, I know. I know. He is he is just a huge piece of work. And there must be a reason I find that anytime almost a lot of my videos before And when I put Dan Wootton's name in, I never got them monetized. And I just think to myself, there must be a reason for that. Almost all my Philip Schofield videos got monetized, but never the stuff on Dan Wootton, though. Strange. Three minutes ago, this is the guy that he's saying the partner threatened to slit his throat, right? And admitted to me as a psychopath. He says, this evening, Dan Wootton has said in the lead segment in GBUs that I abused him and I've made up some very serious allegations just to get him cancelled. This is false. I stand by every word I've tweeted. The story will come out, continue to develop, and after hearing from others, the full truth will come out. Someone joked, legal crowdfunding time. I don't know. I'm guessing, is that into the dude or is that Dan? I'm guessing that's in relation to Dan. But yeah, refusal to take accountability, inflated ego, perceived power over others, always the victim. Yes, yes, absolutely. And they can play the victim pretty well, though. I think a lot of people might get into suckered into Dan's waterworks. Not me, though. Yeah, we were speaking before. Remember yesterday about the woke Snow White film, though, Cara. Because I was watching a video earlier on that Piers Morgan did with this guy that's like a gay comedian. He was the guy that was very much, oh, this is good. It's not just these. It's not being. There's no dwarfs. They're not being called dwarfs, or it's not people who are vertically challenged playing the characters. This is good. This is inclusive, right? And then there was the actor. This guy's Dylan. I can't remember his last name, but he played. I'm a WWE fan, wrestling fan. Well, I used to be kind of, not so much anymore. But he played the car. He was the leprechaun character called Hornswoggle. And he was on there speaking, and he basically saying the same stuff what I was saying, right? That this is not good for the community, his community. Is that these roles don't come around once every often, right? Not all that much. And a lot of people say it was like a guy like Pete. Was it Peter Dinklage came out and started saying stuff about, oh, dwarf actors should be they should get other roles, or they shouldn't just typically give a dwarf actor a role, say, oh, it's because it's for a midget, whatever. But that actually affected the community, though, because then now it's all these woke ideas and all this other bullshit they're doing. I did see a video on GBUs earlier, someone trying to claim that something's changed now because there's a new CEO in Disney. But, like, come on, do you really think things are going to change? There'll still be that same diversity criteria and all those boxes they have to tick, right? I can't imagine things will change that much, but I'm just not a big fan of many things now, modern Italian films. Like, I don't think there would be many things I'd like on Netflix. I don't really, once or twice before I've got Netflix, but I'll get Amazon Prime once in a while, but I don't think there's nothing too much there that I would really want to watch, movies or TV series or whatever the hell, but don't see anything here on Dan Wootton on the Daily Mail. There's the stuff there about the charges being dropped against Ryan Giggs. Was it the assault on his ex, assault, manipulation, coercion, what have you? Those charges have been dropped. There's one here. Corrupt Met police officer dubbed Sheriff of Soho took bribes from nightclub bosses in return for Elton John and Premier League tickets. And Nights Out with Call Girls, he's jailed years. Cops search at LA home, Las Vegas home as part of investigation at rapper Tupac's murder. God, that's still going on after buddy almost 27 years. Gee, bloody hell. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're just better watching what you want, are you, Cara? On you're just better off watching what the hell you want to watch on YouTube, eh? Yeah, I'm into Tupac stuff, Cara. I think probably I would say Biggie Smalls was the better rapper technically, but you felt more, you got something more out of hearing a Tupac record, though. Biggie was better technically, though, and it's like I think what the rapper, the old school rapper Mally Mel said. He was just a good shit talker, Biggie. But wonder why they call you. All right, I like I like a get around. I like changes. Um, Dear Mama's all right. California Love, there's two versions of that. I like both of them. They're pretty good. Yeah, Tupac though, legend. Still got most people top five rappers is Tupac. Just gonna check again, see what people are saying on this stuff with Dan Wootton. Just keeping an eye on it. Yeah, people are saying about Dan, how he's talking, how he's coming off. They're calling it Darvo hate behavior, right? So you start out D, deny the behavior. A, attack the individual doing the confronting. R, reverse the roles of victim and offender. So V covers V and O. The perpetrator assumes the victim role and turns the true victim or the whistleblower into the alleged offender by trying to undermine their credibility through false accusations. Yeah, that's a classic one that they do, right? I think Scientologists do that a lot as well, right? They can just make some real bizarre shit up about people claiming that they've kidnapped kids and all sorts of stuff, and they can they're bad for that. Like the thing with Dan stuff that makes it a little bit kind of messed up is that maybe there's some truths there to it. Maybe he did maybe the guy very angry over the way Dan had treated him. Maybe he did threaten to kill him. Maybe he was in that place where Dan had really fucked him up so much mentally in the head that he felt like he wanted to kill Dan, but not like he threatened to kill him because like this guy's straight up just a psycho with issues and he was always abusing him. But people like that can happen with people. They can drive you to the point. People can drive you insane to the point like, fuck, you could snap and you could do something. That can happen as a human being, right? So Dan could take some of these things that are like half truths and obviously twist it to his advantage. I could see that, but yeah, exactly, Cara. One too much. I know. Hard to overlook it, eh? when it's more than just one. Uh, Someone's saying here, Dan is the textbook definition of a sociopath and the absolute embodiment of Machiavellianism. Almost sounds like Machiavelli, like Mackie, like my name, but he would shoot a child squid in the face if it helped them climb the career ladder. Pretty strong. He really is the evil, and we should just be comfortable with using such to the point language. Yeah, there's quite a lot here. It's pretty much all negative. I can't see anybody here really defending him, to be honest with you. The people that were kind of defending him before, GBU's presenters, they've all piped down today. They're very quiet. I've noticed that. There's certain people that they're watching what they're saying here. They're being very careful. Hi, Ellen. Hi, good to join. That's a really good question. 3 years, right? I mean, you could make the argument that COVID got in the way, and that took up almost 2 years. You could say COVID played a part, but 3 years. I mean, that's a good question, right? I just think with Dan, people know they have to be careful because again, Dan was a very powerful guy in that media tabloid world, very well connected. That's why you hear all these stuff about things about police just dropping it at a dime. And again, if you have the right friends, right, and friends in powerful high places, they can cover for you. They can cover your backside. Just out of curiosity, I want to see if anybody's saying anything about Philip Schofield. Nothing too recent. That came from what I can. Yeah, someone said here. It's funny how the Mail hasn't published an article about the allegations of Dan Wootton. It's obviously hard because he works for them. He's a columnist, but considering relentlessly they hammered Philip Schofield and Hugh Edwards recently. Yeah, exactly. And I'm probably one of the few people I would say myself I'm like conservative right wing, right? And I'm probably the only guy, right? There's maybe one, two, a couple others who are pointing out the double standard that goes on both sides. And I'm like the only guy, one of the only people. Schofield getting revenge. You never know, Lynn. It could be his team of people trying to get revenge, right? You never know. For getting revenge. It's an interesting theory there. It is an interesting one. There was that Matthew Steeples. He was speaking a bit about Dan Wootton, and he was just be interesting to hear what Sean Atwood and Matthew Steeples have to say on that. Dan Wootton fighting back tears, though. Pretty good acting. I'm sure they had to do a rehearsal for that, right? They probably had to rehearse that a couple of times. Him crying as he's reading his teleprompter, right? there's other people. I mean, he's saying he's smeared by an ex-partner who would destroy his life. But then there's other ones there as well. It's not just the one ex-partner. There's 3 other allegations as well. So he's claiming I've made errors of judgment in the past. Just his way of anything he can, little smart ways of how he's wording these things. He's just trying to get out of it. I've made errors of judgment in the past, but the criminal allegations which have been made against me are simply untrue. Bullshit. Philip Schofield will enjoy his break. He'll be back soon asking, are you okay? Yeah. Well, it was funny, right? Because you remember that I was watching it live, the speech that Holly did, that or are you all okay thing. And do you remember when she said deep breath? But I don't think she was meant to say that. That was meant to be the thing of, but she actually goes and says deep breath. I don't think it went over my head at the time, but I don't think that was intentional though, of her actually saying, oh, deep breath, but yeah, all cue, exactly. DW can check himself into mental ward with you. Yeah. Yeah, they can tell some old stories, like check in with one another, talk about what happened in the past where they did this dodgy thing, that dodgy thing, and it'd almost be like somewhere like if like someone that ended up in the prison ward with like an old friend of theirs from school and reminiscing on old times, right, or something. But can you believe this, right? He said, on the advice of my lawyers, I cannot comment further. But then he goes out of his way to say that this person was threatening to slit his throat, destroy his life, and admitted to him he was a psychopath. Wouldn't really your lawyer advise you to not go out of your way to say these things? Like lawyers, lawyers are pretty strict with not with when it comes to advising their clients on not to open their mouth. They can be very strict on even things talking about truthful things and telling you no, don't talk about that. So would he really go out of his way to, saying his lawyers advising him not to talk about it, but then he made it a point to talk about quite a few things, though, right? Hi, Lee. Hi, Matt. that's like the $1 million question, right, Lee? You think in any other case somebody would be taken off the air, right? I mean, I suppose Schofield, when all the allegations were out there about Schofield, right? But he was still on the show for a few days, and then, well, he went off because all that stuff with his brother that was going on, Timothy, right? But then eventually, what was it like? That very day he got sentenced, they let him go, but they might just take him off the air, though. I don't know if it'll come out they suspended him, but maybe just because in terms of everything going on, there'll be some kind of wishy-washy statement of, oh, he's not going to be on the show tonight, like tomorrow, and blah blah, etc. Then GB users reporting a migrant crisis today. But there's so much of these things, though, that there's a lot of this fear mongering, Len, isn't there? Not that like there isn't maybe an issue there when it comes to like illegal immigration, right? But these channels use it for fear mongering and to cause dissent, though. They know what they're doing, right? A psychopath wouldn't be caring about that and wouldn't think twice about the slitting thing. God, yeah. I mean, I've been in some pretty fucked up situations in the past, Cara, when it comes to people making threats like that. And God, I mean, it's a big long story. I remember one person I dealt with, somebody had schizophrenia, and they came close. Like there was, again, it's a long, deep story. I don't think you should be getting into this, but there can always be that thing. What I'm getting at is there's always that thing in the back of their mind thinking, I don't know, I can't really go through this because they know what the outcome will be. Prison, that would hold many people back, even people with like schizophrenia from doing a fucked up thing that they know they're going to regret forever. But obviously, a lot of people, when it comes to these things, can still go through with it though. But suicide threats, the absolute worst. But that can be the one thing with a partner. Yeah, if your partner's on the phone threatening to off themselves, that can be. I've never dealt with anything like that, but that can be the way of how they like to obviously manipulate you, right? Well, he's so again, he's very smart with how he words things, right? Because he says it's impossible to defend yourself against thousands of trolls. With that said, I'm coming on air with a lot of humility too. I think being in the middle of this witch hunt has made me think a lot about the kind of journalist and broadcaster I aspire to be. I should be focused on the massive political threats facing this country, not on the personal attacks. Uh, it says, I mean, who doesn't have regrets? Should I be cancelled for them many years later, or do you accept that I've learned and changed? Well, these are quite serious criminal things, though, Dan. You know what I mean? So it's like people can make mistakes and people can get second chances, but did you think twice about if these things are allegedly true? Did you think twice about the harm that you gave because other people? You, Dan, you've never really cared about who you hurt though, or who gets hurt. You know, you've never cared. And when it comes to the stuff like blackmailing, I mean, we're talking. This is like, I'm not comparing him to this person because there's no allegations about underage people, but that was like classic Jeffrey Epstein shit when it came to blackmailing. He was blackmailing almost everybody he came into contact with. Even people he would call friends. He blackmailed. He was always looking for dirt on people. And it seemed with all in this black world that he was in at the time, almost all these different people he came into contact with, he was trying to have something over them, because that is what it's about with Dan. It's power, It's obvious. Yeah, always a troll. It's always easy to go and call them a troll, right? Just lump it, tar everybody with the same brush, huh? I don't know. Maybe he'll last another day doing the show, and then they'll decide, nah, we can't keep this going on. If it just becomes more and more of a story, more of a thing. Uh, Someone saying here, every one of us needs to complain to Ofcom. Someone facing such serious allegations should not be given a platform to throw mud. Exactly, especially when they're claiming their lawyers advised not to say anything and not to talk about certain things. But he, Angela Levin and Tom Bohr, his princess, older auntie Prince Harry guests, are now freaking out. So are they just rambling on about Meghan and Harry? Are they? Well, is that what they're talking about, Lynn? So someone's saying here, it's entirely predictable that we're now in the play the victims, smoke and mirrors and selective denial phase of the saga. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Bring on him 2 byline times. He thinks he can style this out with dramatic performance. No chance. Yeah. I see what this guy's saying. It's going to become kind of a chess game, but there are probably other people out there that have stuff on him and other stories there. Robbie Skell says, this guy, times are tough, but having good independence and fearless journalism will help make our entire society better. They broke the Dan Wootton exposed story last night without fear or favor. Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah. I can see now, not that I'm big on Harry and Meghan, Lynn, but I can see now what Prince Harry was saying when he called Dan Wootton a sad little man, right? Like, I get it now. I still followed Dan buddy on Twitter like 2 months ago, but I'll take one last look at GBUs, see what they're talking about. Now people are saying GBUs advertisers. They might come for the advertisers. I mean, I don't want to get into that about targeting advertisers because I don't want to like. I still like some of the people that the work they do on there, like Neil Oliver, Calvin Robinson, Lawrence Fox is okay, Nigel Farage is okay. I like some of the stuff they do there. I don't want like this to the point where it's a witch hunt and it's like people's jobs are potentially at risk here. I don't want that to happen, but that's where a lot of people will start doing that though. There'll be this thing of targeting the advertisers and bring up the Dan Wootton stuff. I can see that happening. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Nigel Farage and Lawrence Fox, they're okay. Lynn, yeah. I see this has come out. This is now official, right? That Farage, he was. It wasn't because of money, a money issue about the bank account that they closed down. It was shut down over his values, right? I was just reading about that because they decided his views do not align with their values. BBC and Financial Times though said the bank didn't want his custom as he didn't have enough money in his accounts. He's now saying he has a 40-page document showing he met the criteria for commercial retention, but his views meant they wanted him to leave, ranging from his position on LGBT plus rights through to his friendship with Donald Trump. Sky News haven't seen the document though. He said that Brexit changed things, and yeah, Brexit was a game changer in so many ways, wasn't it? Brexit and Trump, but this is other people. Other people have had their accounts closed down. It's not just Nigel Farage, right? Um, right. So he again, Farage will kind of come like a political martyr. It seems, but this is kind of I'm sure he is kind of like a they use him as kind of sacrificial lamb. It is to send a message to punish people. Hey, watch what you say. Don't get out of line. Comply, play our game, kind of thing. Um, okay, so okay, guys. So I think I'm gonna wrap this up shortly. If there's any comments, any questions you have for me, feel free. Or just anything, just leave a comment there in the chat. I can answer. I think I'm just gonna wrap this up in a few minutes though. Mackie. Yeah, you get to call me Mackie, Cara. Yeah, yeah. It's people who close friends call me Mackie, so you can call me that. It's all good. Someone So now people are saying this stuff about Dan Wootton. He was even when he was gossiping about what stuff to do with William and Kate, huh? He's very much been anti Meghan and Harry over the years, right? Maxter, yeah, that's my alter ego. Someone's saying here now, Dan Wootton is going to have to drop the tapes on Prince William's affair with Rose Hanbury. It was after the story that Dan started getting exclusives from Kensington Palace, attacking Meghan and Harry through his former schoolmate Jason Clough. This Jason Clough guy, are they saying that's Dan Wootton's former schoolmate or that's Prince William's former schoolmate? Interesting. Brian Cathcart, journalist author. He's written something, I think, exposing Dan Wootton. JBU's, I don't think they have, Lynn. I don't think they will put out a statement. They had no problem putting up an article about how Dan broke down in tears, right, and quoted him. But official statement though, I doubt it. Alter ego. I suppose it's kind of like like when Kanye could go a bit crazy. It's like that kind of same thing without the praising Hitler shit though. But that's how I describe it. But there's this other stuff here about Dan. It's a lot to get into though. Might do this for another day. Yeah, no Hitler shit. No. He's kind of backtracked a little bit, but Kanye still to get in the good books of everybody. I think he has to really apologize, a straight up apology for all the stuff about praising Hitler, saying he was a good man. Still weird because he is kind of like semi cancelled, is he? But yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap this up, guys, and probably just need to take a rest, get a bite to eat, have a cup of coffee or something. But another good live stream. Appreciate you for joining me, guys. Yeah, well, he's actually when he sings, Cara, he's actually not bad. Like he really does try as well, right? I know he's done the auto-tune stuff before, but he does put an effort in when he tries to sing, and he's a very good rapper also. But I'm gonna wrap this up tonight though. I might be back if I'm not back tomorrow. Then I'd say I'm probably back for one Thursday, a live stream then. San Francisco, right? So are you born in America? Yeah, well, I mean, I can touch a little bit more on the Dan Wootton stuff if you want. I mean, Dan Wootton basically, he's like the British version of Perez Hilton. You obviously Perez Hilton, he's a bit of a sketchy character, right? And there's all these allegations out here about Dan. There's like 4 different allegations. Some of the main allegations they have here is to do with blackmailing people, and a lot of it was guys who were like straight guys married, but they might have been caught, like hooking up another guy. It was filmed without them knowing, so that was something to have something over them, blackmail. There was an allegation that one guy had alleged that Dan at the MTV, I believe the MTV Europe Awards Glasgow 2014, that he had drugged him and aggressively raped him. That was another one. Because I'm just looking for an article right here. So there's that one, and there is other stuff there about catfishing and a Martin Branning persuading me used. And there was even another one where he was like a fake profile on a Facebook, and it was photos of a girl, like a page 3 model that had been on a reality TV show. So that's some of the stuff, allegations out there about him. But he's very well connected because he was a tabloid in that tabloid world. So it's like Perez Hilton, I'm sure. Maybe he wasn't so well connected. He was kind of on the outside, but he was always trying to force these friendships with people. Obviously, probably, I imagine Perez Hilton, right? Try to get connections with people like Britney and Kim Kardashian and what have you. But Dan Wootton, I mean, he's had the stuff with Johnny Depp because Johnny Depp, Dan Wootton wrote that he was a quote unquote wife beater. Depp sued him. This went to the High Court. This was in London, but Depp lost. He didn't win that. Obviously, they all stuck with Depp and Amber Heard last year. Depp won that. It was in America, but in UK he didn't. When he took the Daily Mail and Dan Wootton to court, he lost that. So that's just some of the stuff on Dan Wootton there. I take it if you're in America, you're probably not that familiar with the name. Maybe you've heard it once or twice, but there's some that's some of it for you there. I'm sure if you do a Google search or look up on Twitter, you'll see some stuff on there though about him. Maybe it goes into a little bit more detail, but just some other stuff here. But yeah, he always had that obsession, didn't he, Dan, about Meghan and Harry? And not that I particularly like Meghan and Harry, but the obsession that people like him and Piers Morgan have over it, it's something else though, isn't it? Anglo-American, right? I wasn't sure your name, Lynn. You thought maybe you were in England or something, or could have even been in Scotland by a name like that. But my name Mackie, though, most people know that's a Scottish name. That's Scottish through and through. Okay, one last look. GBUs. GBUs advertisers, that comes up. Something here about stop funding hate. This is not necessarily in relation to Dan Wootton, but it's something about a group that pressures advertisers into boycotting GBUs. They say are openly anti-Semitic, allegedly. That's what they're claiming people now. That's, again, that could be true. Maybe not. Get your kill. Well, the day comes when I get married, I guess I would have to wear a kilt, right, Cara? It'd be boring just to wear a suit, eh? But okay, I think I'm just going to wrap this up now, guys. So thanks very much for joining me this evening. If I'm not on tomorrow, I'll probably be on Thursday, and I will try and make it a point to be a bit more earlier with the live stream around anything from around 8 to 9 o'clock. I'll do my next live stream. But that's fine, guys. Thanks very much. Thanks for joining me this evening. Cheers. Have a good rest of your evening. See ya.